Do you have what it takes to become a homestager? If I had $1 for every time I've heard someone tell me that becoming a homestager would be their dream job. I mean, you get paid to style homes and go shopping. Of course it is. But homestaging is a lot more than just plumping up cushions or hanging a piece of artwork. I should know, I've been in this industry now for 7 years and I've trained over 15,000 women on how to launch homestaging businesses. So I know what it takes, what qualities you need to have to be successful with this. Today in my video, I'm going to be sharing with you what those qualities are so that you can identify if you have them or not. Let's dive in. I launched my homestaging business when I was leaving school. I was just turning 17 and the idea was born because my mum had a property that was on the market. It was for sale. It wasn't selling. It sat on the market for 3 months and then within 3 days after I staged it, it had sold and it actually sold above the valuation. So I had the idea before I knew I really had all of the qualities that I feel like you need to build a homestaging business. Now, fortunately, I do believe I have most of these traits because 2 years later, I'd built a 7-figure business that was turning over £1 million per year. But it's not as simple as it sounds. It's a great statement just to come out with. It sounds a great achievement. It sounds fun, as does the business itself. But there's so much more behind it than just the styling of the homes. So I'm going to be sharing with you what those 5 are. Let's dive in. Number 1 is you must have an eye for interior design. And this is one that I went back and forth on many times. Now, I do have an eye for design, but this has really became prevalent to me when I've been looking to employ a stager, a new team member. For a long time, I thought maybe someone doesn't need to have an eye for design. Perhaps if I set up room templates and teach them like this is what should go in this type of room, then that can be something that can be learned and that can be replicated. However, that unfortunately was not the case. I had taken on a few team members with no eye for design, and really unless I was there with them or was really managing the whole project, it just wasn't looking right. So I did realize in my team members, I do need to find someone who has an eye for design so that when anything quirky does come up, when anything different does appear, then they are going to be able to take that space and know how to handle it. So it's very true, you do need to have that eye for design, especially if you want to be the leader in your space, in your area, and you want to be the best known homestager. You want to be successful with this because if your properties don't look good, then you could have all the other qualities that I'm going to share with you in this video, but it doesn't actually matter. Number 2, you must be highly organized, and I mean super highly organized. Now, I am a Virgo, so I am totally into all things organization. I actually can't function until my office is tidy, my house is clean, then I can get on to work. And I'm very much the same when it comes to all things spreadsheets and organization. Now, you're going to have to be highly organized in this business because there's a lot of logistics as you scale the company. So for example, I now own over 50 kits and many times they're all over the country, all over the UK. And that actually takes a very organized person to organize that system in the back end and then to even have the brain to work out where each of our kits are going. Now, if you take that into, let's say, a smaller amount of kits, even 1, 2, 3, 4, it still becomes a reason that you need to be organized because it is highly quickly, it is always moving, this game, which is one of the reasons why I love it. It's You never know what's going to happen, you never know what's going to come, but you also need to have that sort of regimented side to you also. On that note, I want to hear from you in the comments which of these qualities you think you have, and we'll see if you've got what it takes to become a homestager. Number 3, and this is what I personally believe any business owner in the world needs, and that is resourcefulness. I've been resourceful at so many points in my journey. I genuinely think if I wasn't, I wouldn't even be here today. Now, apart from having those startup funds and building a business model that really helped me scale to 7 figures, I think one of my resourcefulness moments that have came in most handy have been when I got the co-founder of Netflix to write the foreword to my book. I had no previous connections to Mark Randolph. I had just heard of him, obviously, who hasn't heard of Netflix? And I had to find a way to ask him to write the foreword to my book. So I invited him on my podcast, gave value to him by letting him share his message, having him on there as an interview. And then at the end of it, I asked him, I was pretty much shaken and said, Mark, will you write the foreword to my book? And he said yes. Now, I personally believe that was definitely one of the most amazing moments in my life, but also which helped the book reach bestseller and brought a lot of kudos to the book itself. So that would be an example of resourcefulness, is when you don't have the connections, when you don't have the money, you don't have the experience, the testimonials, is actually how can I look outside the box and make this happen? And if you bring that into your business and into your life will be completely changed. Now, number 4 hopefully does not come as a shock to you, and that is being a hard worker. Genuinely, so much of my success has came down to being a grafter, as we call it in Scotland, a hustler, and just working very hard. Just getting your hands dirty and getting on with it. Stephen Bartlett from the Diary of a CEO, he summed this up in such a beautiful way. Many people have said to him, you're so lucky. And he says, yes, there is an element of that. There is a tiny element. I did email someone on LinkedIn. They were one of the first people I connected with, and they did give me an investment in my business. But the difference between luck and actually working for something is he said that he sent that email at 3 a.m. on a Saturday morning. And this is what is required to build your business. He could have been out partying, he could have been sleeping at that time. He was working hard to get that win. So I love that lesson, and at so many points also, I worked 17-hour days, 7 days a week. So if you want to make this business a success, get ready to do some hard work and roll up those sleeves, because at times it can be a very physical business also with the actual staging process. Number 5, or final one, is you have to be calm. In the staging world, so many different things can go wrong. Things don't show up. I actually remember one installation for me where it was actually one of my biggest installations ever. It was a 4-bed detached home, and I had ordered this really gorgeous corner sofa, and it was a really reasonable price, and I could not stretch the budget any further. I was waiting in on it, I was still waiting on it, and it never arrived. The photographers were coming at 9 a.m. that next day, and I had to have this property finished. There was a quick dash out to 5, 10, 15 shops till I finally found a replacement sofa, and I just had to work everything else around it. Things can go wrong, and you must keep calm and level-headed. So all of these 5 qualities you bring together are very, very powerful. If you want to learn more about, do I have what it takes to become a homestager? I've actually created a free quiz at STAGERBOSSquiz.com. Go check it out. It's going to actually walk you through not just do you have the right qualities, but do you have an eye for design? Can you work out how to best stage this room? And then we'll tell you if you've got what it takes to become a homestager.